The universal mind is an intelligent energy force into which we can all tap if we develop the consciousness to do so. How to connect with it? The entire world of matter, everything we know with our five senses, including our brains and that table we sit at for a meal, is really just energy. That energy has formed molecules and atoms that have gathered in numbers and patterns of movement to create that brain and that table. And the same is true for trees, cars, animals and humans. Physicists also tell us that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it can only be rearranged. Thus, ice turns into water and water into steam. We take energy that has been turned into matter and rearrange it all the time. Thus, we have our physical world. 3 scientific facts about human brain. 1. Neuroscience is a wonderful thing. We have MRIs that can show which parts of our brains are active when we engage in problem solving, creativity, memory and such. It has figuratively dissected our brains into all of their parts and can see brain damage from traumas and strokes. Our brains are physical things, with cells made up of molecules and atoms. 2. Quantum physics is also a wonderful thing. It now tells us that there ultimately is no matter, no molecules or atoms. They can be smashed in particle accelerators until there is nothing there, just energy. Given this fact, we now have realized that every bit of matter in the universe is, at its core, only energy. And that includes our brains. 3. Medicine has documented, on numerous occasions, instances of brain death, no activity in the brain whatsoever, as measured by EEGs, and then a return to life of the individual who was medically dead. People who return have very similar stories, hovering over their bodies in a state of awareness of some sort and/or moving toward a light. Clearly, brain death does reverse. If so, why only for some? If everything is energy, what do we call that pure energy? Some choose to call it God, and they give God certain attributes. He set all of this in motion and either stays involved by hearing our prayers and responding or, as in some religious groups, created the universe and remains a detached observer. Others call this energy, first cause, a force that sets everything in motion. I prefer to call it universal mind, an intelligent energy force into which we can all tap if we develop the consciousness to do so. We are all connected to the universal mind. If we are energy and the universal mind is energy, then we are all connected to it. And with that connection, we have, through our consciousness, access to all of the intelligence that is the mind. Now, most of us have a pretty poor connection to it because we live in the race world, with its race consciousness. We accept lack, we accept sickness and disease, we accept conflict and problems and anger and hatred. In the universal mind, these things don't exist. It is our incorrect thoughts and beliefs that make them real in the now to us. But when we begin to clean up our connection to the mind's energy, we have a connection that can manifest all of the good that correct thoughts and beliefs can manifest. The universal mind is neutral. It is our consciousness that determines how the mind manifests in our lives. Cleaning up the connection. A number of years ago, Wayne Dyer wrote a book and actually lectured on that book all over the world. The title was The 7 Faces of Intention. His premise was that there was only one force in the universe, an energy force that he called intention. And he wrote and spoke about the connection that we all have to this force in varying degrees. What keeps us from really connecting, he stated, is our race consciousness. That consciousness manifests in 6 beliefs that our brain has cooked up based upon our living on this earth. These include such things as we are what we have, we are what other people think of us, we are what we have accomplished, and we are separate from each other and from God, or the universal mind. We have to travel, learn, and correct these ego beliefs if we are to have the lives we really can have, and we do that by raising our consciousness. And our brains have little to do with this other than to be the repository of the thoughts that we have. Here are the thoughts and beliefs that we must nurture until they are dominant and all of the ego thoughts have been dispelled. 1. We must first surrender to this force and understand that our body and our brain are not in control, only our thoughts are. 2. Accept that within this energy of the universal mind is creativity and that you can connect to that creativity. Visualize your connection as a hose and as creative thought and energy coming through that hose into you. This is where inspiration comes from, where you find your calling, and where your next big idea resides. 3. Practice kindness. There is no need to give into those old ego thoughts that have been residing in that memory portion of your brain. You don't have to be unkind to anyone or any creature. High consciousness comes when we understand that kindness benefits us as much as the other person. 4. Love. It comes from kindness, really, and it means that we give up our need to judge and to be angry or resentful. We recognize that everyone is on his/her own path to enlightenment. We will all get there eventually because we are all connected through the universal mind. How can we not love ourselves? 5. Beauty. Focus on the beauty all around you. When you do this continuously, you can see the beauty in others and in a maggot. Everything is as it should be and in that there is beauty. 6. Expansion. We expand our consciousness with our correct thoughts and realize that there are no limitations in the mind. There is an unlimited supply of energy for us to increase our awareness. 7. Abundance. This is just like an expansion. If there is only energy and it cannot be created or destroyed, then we have an unlimited supply of that energy to bring abundance to ourselves. We are just rearranging that energy. 8. Receptivity. We must be receptive to the unlimited supply of energy that is ours to tap into. This goes back to the initial idea of surrender. And with us comes peace, beautiful peace. 9. Meditation, staying at peace, replacing all negative thoughts with the understanding that the universal mind is an unlimited supply of energy and intention. These are the things that will raise our consciousness, keep the connection clean and bring us joy.